incredible abilities, strange bodily defects, and mysterious people who challenge the laws of nature. Today on Top Facts, we will tell you about the most unusual people who, despite their uniqueness, became real stars of circuses and shows. Enjoy watching. Johnny Ek, the Halfman. Johnny Ek, born in 1911 in Baltimore, Maryland, was an actor and horror performer who came into the world without the lower half of his torso. Despite his condition, Johnny did not allow it to stop him from living a life full of achievements. He became a famous entertainer, known for his impressive acrobatic numbers and charismatic stage presence. In addition, Johnny was a talented painter, musician, and director. His fame increased after filming in the movie Freaks in 1932, where he demonstrated his abilities and proved that he was much more than just an unusual appearance. He challenged public ideas of what is considered normal and became an inspiration to everyone who met him. Grady Stiles, the Lobster Man. Grady Stiles, better known as the Lobster Man, was born in 1937 with a rare condition called ectrodactyly, which gave his hands and feet the appearance of lobster claws. Grady began performing at a young age, following the example of his father, who also suffered from ectrodactyly. He became a popular figure in circuses, using his claw-shaped limbs to perform tricks and manipulate various objects. However, Grady's personal life was clouded by tragedies and scandals. He was known for his violent behavior, especially when intoxicated. In 1978, he was convicted of murdering his daughter's fiancé, killing him on the eve of their wedding. Grady Stiles received a lenient sentence, and instead of imprisonment, he was placed on probation. In 1992, Grady was killed by a hitman hired by his wife, Maria Teresa, and son in revenge for years of physical and emotional abuse. The story of Grady Stiles is one of the most tragic and complex in the world of freak shows, showing the dark side of life behind the scenes of these shows. Isaac W. Sprag, the Skeleton Man. Born in 1841 in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts, he was a well-known circus performer nicknamed the Skeleton Man. From an early age, Isaac began to lose weight despite normal eating due to an unknown disease that left his body exceptionally thin. This gave him a skeletal appearance that made him a prime attraction at shows. Isaac began his circus career with P.T. Barnum in 1865 and quickly became one of the most popular performers. During his appearances, he displayed his gaunt body, often wearing clothing that emphasized his skeleton-like figure, and spoke about how his illness affected his everyday life. Despite his mysterious disease, Isaac managed to turn his unique appearance into a career, winning the attention and respect of audiences around the world. Many theories were proposed about his condition, the most likely being an extreme form of muscular atrophy or a metabolic disorder. Martin Laurel, the Owl Man. Martin Laurel, also known as the Owl Man, possessed a truly unique and striking ability. He could rotate his head 180 degrees. This rare and astonishing skill allowed him to look straight backward without moving the rest of his body. Laurel amazed audiences, challenging common perceptions of human capabilities and leaving everyone stunned by his unusual talent. His ability was not a trick. It was the result of many years of training and a unique physical structure that allowed him to dislocate vertebrae without harming his health. He performed in variety shows and circuses, often becoming the main star. Laurel was born in Germany and then immigrated to the United States, where he continued to amaze spectators with his incredible abilities. He is remembered as one of the most enigmatic and iconic figures of the freak show world, a true symbol of determination and human fascination. Alice Elizabeth Doherty, the Werewolf Girl. Known as the Werewolf Girl, She was born on the 14th of March, 1887 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, United States. Her story is as unique as it is rare. Alice became famous thanks to an extremely rare genetic condition called hypertrichosis lanuginosa, which caused her to be born with a thick layer of soft hair known as lanugo, covering her entire body. From early childhood, Alice attracted attention, and her parents decided to display her condition within a freak show. Despite the publicity, Alice lived a relatively ordinary life, surrounded by the love and care of her family. Her unique appearance made her popular in the circuses of the time, where she performed under the pseudonym the Werewolf Girl. Alice is remembered not only for her rare illness, but also for the dignity with which she lived her life, turning her feature into a way to support her family and delight the public. Chang and Ang Bunker, the first known Siamese twins. They were the first known Siamese twins, born on the 11th of May, 1811 in Samut Songkhram, Thailand, which at the time was called Siam. They were joined at the chest, their livers fused. In 1829, the twins moved to the United States, where they gained popularity by performing in circuses and at fairs. In their shows, they demonstrated their unique condition, which became a significant spectacle for audiences. Chang and Ang showed how to live in coordination despite physical connection, performing everyday tasks such as walking, running, and doing simple household chores. And despite their unusual situation, they found love, married, and even started families of their own. They set a world record for the number of children born to conjoined twins, with 21 children. Chang and Ang became household names around the world and earned a huge fortune while traveling across the United States. Felix the Elastic Man. Felix, born in 1858 in Wisconsin, United States, discovered that he possessed impressive abilities. Imagine that you can stretch your skin like chewing gum. That was exactly the talent Felix had. But that was not all. Felix could bend his limbs to such angles that it seemed impossible for a human body. He seemed to possess superpowers that broke the laws of human anatomy. Felix performed around the world, showcasing his amazing abilities in museums and circuses, such as the famous Ringling Brothers Circus. Specialists suggested that Felix had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a condition in which connective tissues become too weak. The skin becomes elastic and the joints extremely mobile. Schlitzy, the star of freaks. Schlitzy, born in 1901, was a freak show performer known for his rare illness, microcephaly, which made his head unusually small and led to certain mental characteristics. But this did not prevent him from living a full life. Schlitzy was a natural entertainer who found his calling in the freak show world, where his infectious laughter and playful character became unforgettable. He became instantly popular, be it singing, dancing, or joking. People could not resist his charisma. Schlitzy became a real star after appearing in the movie Freaks in 1932, where he played himself. He showed the world his unique spirit and taught us an important lesson about acceptance. General Tom Pam, the little giant of talent. General Tom Pam, whose real name was Charles Stratton, was born in 1838 and stood only 63 centimeters tall. He was discovered by P.T. Barnum when he was only 4 years old. Tom Pam quickly became the main attraction of Barnum's American Museum in New York. But Tom Pam was not just a little man, he was a master of many arts, including singing, dancing, acting, and even imitating historical figures. He became a genuine one-man show, performed in Europe where he met Queen Victoria, and became widely known throughout Europe. Tom Pam's face adorned everything from trade cards to teacups. He proved that size does not matter when it comes to talent and charisma. Edward Moore, the man with two faces. Edward Moore, born into a wealthy and noble English family in the 19th century, was cursed with an unusual feature. He had a second face on the back of his head. Yes, you heard right. On the back of his head was a face that supposedly whispered to him at night, uttering disgusting and disturbing thoughts. In search of deliverance from his curse, Edward turned to many doctors and spiritualists, but no one could help him. Eventually, he sank into a deep state of despair and madness and reportedly took his own life at a young age. The legend of Edward Moore lives on to this day as a frightening story that defies medical understanding and stirs a storm of emotions in people's imagination. However, it is worth noting that his story is more like an urban legend, as there is no concrete medical or historical evidence of his existence. Cuckoo, the girl with a bird's head. Cuckoo, born in 1880 in Georgia, suffered from a viral syndrome also known as bird dwarfism. This illness made her appearance unique. She had a small, bird-like nose and a recessed jaw. Despite her physical characteristics, Cuckoo was a real star, gaining popularity with her bright voice and charming personality. In her performances, she often wore a costume resembling a bird, including feathers and a feathered tiara, which reinforced her nickname, the Bird Girl. She performed eccentric dances and movements imitating a bird, and often waved her arms like wings. Cuckoo took part in freak shows and circuses, including Todd Browning's famous 1932 film Freaks, where she had a notable role. Frank Lentini, the three-legged man. Francesco Frank Lentini, born in 1889 in Syracuse, Sicily, was known as the three-legged man, as he had a third leg protruding from the right side of his body due to a congenital defect. Frank did not let this unique feature stop him. Instead, he turned it into an opportunity to educate and entertain others. At the age of 8, his family moved to Connecticut, United States, where Lentini quickly became one of the main attractions of circuses and carnival shows. He often joked that compared to others, he needed to eat 15% more to feed his additional leg. During his performances, Frank Lentini used his unique feature to entertain audiences and astonish them with incredible skills, such as jumping rope and kicking footballs with his third leg. Ella Harper, the Camel Girl. Ella Harper, known as the Camel Girl, was born in 1870 with a rare orthopedic condition known as genu recurvatum, which caused her knees to bend backward, allowing her to move on all fours. Ella became a popular figure in circuses and freak shows in the 1880s, starting her career at the age of 9 under the management of showman W.H. Harris. She became a sensation, and people from around the world came to see this girl with backward-bending knees and witness her amazing abilities. Ella was often depicted on posters and promotional materials as a wonder of nature. Despite her popularity in the entertainment world, she left the circus in 1886 to obtain an education and a quiet life. George and Willie Muse, the Martian ambassadors. Born in Virginia in the late 19th century, they were brothers who differed in appearance due to albinism. In 1899, they were kidnapped from their community and ended up in the hands of freak show organizers who presented them as Echo and Echo, Martian ambassadors, along with other exotic and fictional names. George and Willie, despite exploitation, became popular figures at freak shows and displayed their musical talent. They were rescued by their mother, leading to a legal struggle for their freedom. Lavi Valley, the acrobat and strong woman. Lavi Valley, better known as Charman, was a famous acrobat and vaudeville performer of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Born in 1975, Charman became known for her daring and innovative performances as well as her impressive physical strength. One of her most famous numbers consisted of her undressing while performing acrobatic tricks on a trapeze, causing a sensation at the time. Charmant performed in different theaters and circuses, becoming an icon in the entertainment world. She was a pioneer, challenging gender stereotypes of the time when displays of physical strength were considered exclusively male. Charmant inspired many women, showing that they too could be strong and brave. Leonardo, the lion-faced man. Leonardo, born in 1901 in Poland, became known as the lion-faced man because of his hypertrichosis, which covered his face and body with thick hair resembling a lion's mane. At the age of 4, he was sold to a German circus owner who saw potential for a show in this unusual appearance. Leonardo became one of the most popular attractions in circuses and freak shows of the time. He charmed audiences with his vivid image, combining his unusual appearance with a gentle nature. In his performances, Leonardo not only displayed his appearance, but also performed acrobatic tricks and demonstrated abilities in other areas such as strength and dexterity. Leonardo often shared the story of his life and explained how his unique feature led him into the world of show business. Myrtle Corbin, the four-legged girl from Texas. Myrtle Corbin, born in 1868, became known as the four-legged girl from Texas. From childhood, Myrtle attracted people's attention with her unusual feature. She was born with an additional pair of legs belonging to a parasitic twin that had not fully developed. This phenomenon, called dipygus, gave Myrtle her nickname. Although she was born in Tennessee, she spent most of her life in Texas, where she performed in circuses and freak shows. Myrtle lived a relatively long life for her time and died at the age of 59. Mirren Dejo, the invulnerable man. Mirren Dejo, born in the Netherlands in 1912, became famous for shocking the medical community with his astounding abilities to pierce his body with all kinds of objects, seemingly without sustaining any damage. In the 1940s, Dejo achieved international fame through his seemingly supernatural ability to run various objects, from swords to huge needles, through his body without feeling pain, losing blood, or being injured. The medical community, initially skeptical, was puzzled by Dejo's abilities. He underwent a series of X-ray and other medical examinations, during which objects indeed passed through his body. This confirmed that his performances involved no tricks or illusions. Pasual Pinon, the two-headed Mexican. Pasual Pinon, known as the two-headed Mexican, was a Mexican railroad worker who attracted the attention of a freak show organizer because of a massive cyst or tumor on his head. To enhance the visual effect and public interest, a mask imitating a second face with eyes, nose, and mouth was created, making him an even more enigmatic figure. Despite the exploitative nature of these shows, Pinon managed to provide for his family with the income from these performances and traveled across North America, where his presentations attracted many spectators. Pauline Musters, the smallest woman in the world. Pauline Musters, born in 1876 in the Netherlands, became famous for her extraordinarily small height, which measured only 58 centimeters. Her unusually small stature made her a celebrity in the freak show world, and she traveled around the globe performing before admiring audiences. Pauline was adored by spectators not only because of her height, but also thanks to her charm and lively personality. She appeared in various shows, winning audiences with her charisma and unique performances. Pauline Musters is remembered as one of the brightest figures of freak shows, a woman who turned her small appearance into a large career. Unfortunately, she died of pneumonia and meningitis in 1895 at only 19 years of age. Prince Rardon, the Snake Man. Born in 1871 in British Guiana, he faced a great challenge from birth. He had neither arms nor legs, but that did not stop him from achieving success. Prince Rardon was so agile that he could move like a cat and be strong like a bull using only his torso and head. He could smoke cigarettes, light them, and even shave using only his mouth. Rardon became a superstar in freak shows in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, joining Barnum's Circus, where he imitated snakes by rolling across the stage and bewitched astonished crowds. Daisy and Violet Hilton, the Wonder Humans. Daisy and Violet Hilton, twin sisters born on the 5th of February 1908 in Brighton, England, were joined at the hip and buttocks, sharing a common blood vessel but having separate organs. From early childhood, the sisters were exploited by their adoptive mother, who displayed them at various fairs and circuses, earning money from their unique appearance. After their mother's death and continued exploitation, the sisters were controlled by her daughter Edith and her husband, who used them for financial gain. Nevertheless, Daisy and Violet were trained in various arts, including singing, dancing, and playing musical instruments, and became talented and popular performers on vaudeville stages. James Morris, the Elastic Man. James Morris, known as the Elastic Man, rivaled Felix for the title of the most elastic man on Earth. James possessed an incredible ability for contortionism that left audiences in complete awe. He could bend his limbs in such a way that it seemed as if there were no bones in his body. Morris also performed with the Ringling Brothers Circus, where his shows attracted large crowds. Specialists believe he had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which allows skin and joints to be extraordinarily elastic. Hunter, the Pony Boy. Hunter, known as the Pony Boy, was born in 1995 in Missouri, United States, with a unique physical feature known as congenital knee deformity called genu recurvatum, which allowed him to move on all fours. His popularity began to grow after the Civil War, when he demonstrated his physical feature in one of the small American amusement parks, after which his fame started to gain momentum. Hunter traveled across North America with the famous Tom Mix Circus, where he became a star. He spent an impressive 36 years showcasing his abilities and turning his differences into a unique show. Grace Stevens, the Amphibian Woman. Born in 1920 in the United States with a rare condition that made her skin resemble fish skin, her skin became covered with wrinkles, which sparked interest in her in circuses and freak shows. Grace used her feature to become the center of attention on stage, amazing audiences with her unique appearance and grace. She also became famous for performing water-related acrobatic tricks, which contributed to her star status. Annie Jones, the Bearded Woman. Annie Jones, born in 1865 in Virginia, United States, began showing signs of hypertrichosis, a condition characterized by excessive hair growth at a very young age. Her beard began to grow when she was only 5 years old. Annie was noticed by P.T. Barnum, one of the most famous showmen of that time, and included in his famous freak show, Barnum's American Museum in New York. Very quickly, Annie became one of the most popular attractions of the museum, charming audiences with her unique appearance and charismatic personality. She often performed as the Bearded Woman. Fanny Mills, the Woman with Big Feet. Fanny Mills, born in the 1850s in Ohio, suffered from a condition known as Milroy's disease, a form of congenital lymphedema, which caused severe swelling primarily in her legs and feet. This condition led to her feet becoming extraordinarily large. The length of her feet reached 50 centimeters and the width 20 centimeters. Fanny was known as the Woman with Big Feet, and her unique feature attracted much attention. She turned her physical characteristic into a career, performing in circuses and freak shows. The popularity of her performances grew, and she earned considerable money, which allowed her to provide for herself and her family. Fanny died in 1999 at the age of 39. The exact causes of her death are unknown, but complications associated with lymphedema likely played a role. Bobby Munster, the Gorilla Man. Bobby Munster was born in 1920 in the United States with a rare condition called hypertrichosis, which led to significant excess hair growth over his entire body, including his face. He became known as the Gorilla Man, thanks to his strong appearance and thick hair that covered his face and body. Despite his unusual appearance, Bobby became a crowd favorite and gained fame through his performances in circuses and fairs. He was a main attraction in freak shows, where he used his physical characteristics to amaze audiences. Thus ends the story of the most unusual circus performers, whose anomalies simultaneously fired the imagination and forced people to think about the power of the human spirit. If you liked it and want to learn many more new and mind-blowing things, then subscribe to Top Facts. And as a token of gratitude, you can write any comment. This will help us a lot to gain views, which is what we created our channel for.